Which one of the stories I have, I guess is a better segue into that, is there's this documentary that was released over the weekend, or I think on Friday, but it was on the development of the last God of War.
Yeah.
So it was a
It's
Sony
feature-length film.
Yeah. Have you watched it?
No, I need to.
It's very good. Oh man. So I started it on was it last night or the night before at like 11, and I couldn't sleep. I watched the whole thing. But they go into as much detail as a Sony approved documentary can. They go into very big detail on the development, where they're talking about them, reaching these deadlines, not being ready, and just issues with, are they making the right move on Kratos and changing the formula, and having playtesters react to it. And it was really, really interesting to see that kind of that detail. But I highly recommend everyone watch it. So it's called Raising Kratos. I pulled up some interesting notes from it. So there was a game that Sony Santa Monica was working on before they decided to shelve it and work on the God of War reboot.
Huh.
So this was called Internal 7, as far as that was a working name for it. But it was like a sci-fi futuristic game that they were working on.
Is it a remake of Killer 7?
No, it's not. It's more like they in the documentary they show images and stuff, concept for it. It's more like an alien xenomorph kind of world. Like they're creating something that's more sci-fi, more Dead Space kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But so they decided to kill that, work on God of War.
It's too bad.
Yeah, so it was interesting. They were working on Internal 7 pre-production for close to 36 months. So imagine working on the game for that long and then going, higher ups, whatever, going, hey, we actually can't make this game. We're going to change gears and work on something else.
Huh.
It's pretty crazy. So another thing, that was a good little excerpt from the documentary. So the first pitch Cody Barlog, the game director, gave involved Kratos walking through the desert, because at that time, the game was going to be set in Egypt. Which there's slight nods to it in that game in the release, but that could have been cool, a really cool setting. But they decided to go with the Norse mythology. So here's something that was this is brutal too in the documentary. So God of War was first playable in an early build in 2015. President of Sony SIE Worldwide Studios, Shuhei Yoshida, he visited the team in March 2015, and according to director Cody Barlog, he was horrified about how bad it was.
Oh, wow.
So and so they talk about it, and that was another refreshing thing too. He visited the team, played it, and he was like visibly angry, and they had a whole set of meetings because it was not on track, and so to have the head of Sony play it, and then
it took him forever to get the axe right. I remember that was one of the biggest things. Like that was years and years to get that.
That's a crazy new, mechanic that they're just, and if it doesn't work, man, the whole game doesn't work.
Yeah.
One thing that was crazy revealing, and I think that this is at this level too with AAA studios, I imagine this is the norm, how they're kind of working on something and at the very end kind of get it right.
Yeah.
But so the demo, so with the documentary, I'll back up. With the documentary, they follow them from the early beginning stages all the way up until release. And so they're with them for like 3-4 years.
Holy cow.
Tons of footage throughout the years. So the E3 reveal demo that they played at E3 2016, they had Cody Barlog. He was off screen playing. It was a live demo.
Oh wow!
But so it's a 10-minute demo where they show the new Kratos for the first time. You're playing with the sun and going through the world. So that 10-minute demo took them 1.5 years to create, to get it all working, bugless, that kind of thing.
Oh wow!
So after that, they talk about it in the documentary. So once they finished it and they were on such a high, it was well received. They go back to work, and it's like, okay, we have another 1.5 years to make the rest of the game. They had worked on that for 1.5 years. So they had 1.5 years to basically make 30 more hours of content and like flesh out the game.
Yeah.
Which is nuts to me that they were like, they worked so hard on that. It's like, okay, now we have to make this game.
Right.
We have 1.5 years. It was insane. And they go through a pushback of the release date too, and they talk about how actually really hard it was to get that passed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really, really great documentary. It's awesome, man. They just go through the highs and the lows and how brutal they are, and like the sacrifices of the team, and like they let go part of the team at one point right before they started, just through whatever issues with the company. So it's really, really cool.
Huh.
I highly recommend checking it out.
Yeah, to watch.
And there's nothing spoilery too. I know you like a psycho, you'll watch the end of a game for some reason, but there's nothing spoilery in the documentary, so you can watch it and still play the game. But yeah, definitely check that out. So we got that. We got Detective Pikachu. We got some Crunch.
I did watch a thing. I think it was on Vice or something the other day, where he kind of one of the creators on the game sort of analyzes the scene where he gets the Blades of Chaos.
Oh, I think that is I feel like I've watched that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to see how budgetary reasons made that scene.
Yeah.
Like it really toned it down, and that just made it that much more beautiful because of that.
So when he's talking about like with Kratos in the boat going through and eventually getting those blades, but yeah, like how they had planned for all these enemies off screen or you know on screen, but they're like they had to deal with the fact that budget wise they couldn't do that.
Yeah,
I love that thing too. Yeah, just little insights on and just some honesty on the fact that you know these things are hard to make and there's money involved and there's time involved and sometimes you don't get to do what you want to do.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, which you got to play it. I will definitely let you borrow my PS4.
Gotcha.
The downside is I just realized because I pre-downloaded today Rage 2, which comes out tomorrow or tonight, and it's on PS4 though. I was like, I was gonna give Gavin my PS3.
I'll play it.
Okay, but once I play that next year, you'll definitely get my PS4.